So I'm pretty sure you also a light bulb stopping working at a certain point of your life. Mine did it last week, actually, while I was showering, of course, so something not very pleasant. Now, you might all know that the light bulb doesn't really get dimmer and softer as time passes. No. What it usually does, it's being on, flickering a little bit, maybe, and then suddenly shutting. This is an unexpected and abrupt collapse, which is what I'm going to talk to you about today. Normally, we represent these phenomena in such a way. Over time, you have an on state for your bulb, then a little bit of flickering down there, until a sudden crash onto an off state. And now you might wonder, well, why should we care about light bulbs at all? Well, the point is, these very same phenomena are shared by much more important systems. Us, for instance. Epileptic seizures often start abruptly. Cell regulation is also toggle triggered. And cancer states are also associated with rapid and unexpected evolutions. And all of those systems have a common denominator. They become more and more fragile as time passes. They lose resilience until they tip onto an undesired state. Take this gene regulatory network, for instance. Normally, the system is super robust. I mean, your cells keep functioning and doing whatever they're expected to do. But let's just perturb slightly, not even a massive change. We are not really removing nodes or elements. No, we are just tweaking a little bit of regulation here and there, like this guy is regulating the other a little bit more or less or whatever. But it's this sum of very tiny details, of subtleties, that eventually make huge changes in the outcome of the system. And here is actually where mathematics comes into hand. Because again, it's a matter of small quantitative changes piling up and creating qualitative abrupt shifts. Similarly, what we try to do is, given a time series data like this, looking for signals that can alert us in advance, potentially. Like here, the flickering of the light bulb. We want to develop better and more refined models in order to extrapolate and predict some indicators that could give us some hints in advance of what's happening. An example here is the variance, which is expected to increase just before the transition, and sometimes it can alert us previously, in advance, that something is going to happen. An example application of this comes from the, COVID-19 pandemic. On top, you can see the infamous second wave that we experienced in summer 2022 here in Luxembourg. And on the bottom, you can see that a retrospective analysis was able to extrapolate the expected increase in variance just before the wave started, which is marked by the dashed line. In this case, should have been able to leverage all of those signals. Perhaps we could have been able also to develop an alert in advance what could have happened. Now it's time to leave the stage to my colleagues. I will be pleasure to keep talking about these topics and other examples later in person and during this event. Let me just stress this point once more. Abrupt losses of resilience matter, and they're much more common than we should expect. And mathematical models, in this case, are the best tools to develop a sound risk assessment. Thank you for your attention.
Very good, thank you. And for the slide role of the